morning and welcome to another edition of our Newark Academy Coaches Corner. Today I have with me one of our spring coaches, Coach Tavares. Coach Tavares, welcome. Can you pass on to us, Coach, whereabouts did you begin your coaching career? I'll let you introduce yourself, and why did you become a coach?
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. Bryan Tavares, I'm the head baseball coach at Newark Academy. Actually got my start in coaching really young. I played for a travel baseball organization. And when I can't remember the exact year, it was 16 or 17, I had the opportunity to be an assistant coach on a younger 12-year-old team in that travel organization that was putting together a team to play in the first World Championships being organized by the wide world of sports at Disney. And kind of got the coaching bug then. Obviously went off to play baseball in college, so there was some time in between that I took off after graduating college. I kind of fell out of coaching, but to pursue my professional career. But my professional career moved me to London, and interestingly enough, in London is where I got my restart back in coaching. I had become friends with a number of people who were involved in the national program for Great Britain baseball, and had the opportunity to work with them and form a high performance academy that was looking to get high performance athletes choosing to play baseball in the growing sport of baseball in the United Kingdom. And that all culminated with me taking the head coaching role at the American Community School in Hillingdon, so coaching baseball there, and then eventually translated to being involved in the national program, where I coached the Great Britain under 15 national team for a year. And then, as fate would have it, professional lives moved my family back to the United States. And that's when I got involved in coaching baseball in New Jersey at the high school level.
As you've sort of gone through your coaching, have there been mentors in your career that you model your coaching style after?
There definitely are. The person who's had the biggest influence on my personal coaching philosophy and how I think about the game of baseball is a good friend of mine. He's the former men's national team coach for Great Britain. His name's Liam Carroll. He played baseball at UNLV and is a dual citizen, but was like I said, the former head of the Great Britain baseball program. And he has a philosophy of baseball where you're aiming to control all of the things that you can personally control. So it starts with the mental aspect of the game. Baseball can be a grueling sport to play mentally because there are so many things that can happen outside of your control. And he boils the game down into the things that you can control. So are you controlling the way that you play the game? Are you minimizing your errors? Are you thinking about the way that you are having success at each individual at bat, pitch by pitch? I mean, it really breaks the game down. And it's something that I had never thought of as a player. I saw the game as just this big entity, and whether you had success at the end of the game or not, whereas you can break baseball down and give yourself and your team a better chance to have success by having success at all of the individual components of the game.
What do you look for in the ideal student athlete in your particular sport?
I preach to the team about the element of being a good teammate. So I use teammate in the sense of a baseball team, but good teammate, it can be translated to a number of different things kind of throughout your life, and how you fit into your community, how you fit into your school life, and how you fit into the baseball team. And are you doing the things that make you a good player, and are you doing the things that make the players around you better? So the other thing that I look for is accountability. So are my players being accountable, one, to themselves, to their team, to their family, to their teachers, and to make themselves kind of better people and better players.
What values do you really want to instill in your players?
I'm looking for players who are going to be resilient, take accountability for the things that they need to do to make themselves and then their teammates better. Realize that there are going to be struggles along the way. It's not always going to be easy, and recognize that you have to persevere, go through the journey of making yourself a better baseball player. Things are going to happen. You need to turn the page. You have to have a very short memory in the game of baseball, because every next pitch is an opportunity to do something special.
How has your program been impacted and handled the difficulties of 2020?
2020 was a very difficult year, and I think that is consistent across all team sports. It's a very difficult, particularly in spring, where in New Jersey we effectively had the spring season canceled. It's a very difficult to run a team practice or a team building activity over Zoom. And I think we're all living through that, and we're all learning. I think that's made us more resilient. We've kind of had the opportunity to sit back and take stock of how important and how special a real baseball season is.
Why should a prospective student come to Newark Academy?
First, I think it's when you're looking at where you're going to choose to go to high school. I think you need to look at the total package, and you can't just look at athletics. And we as coaches at the high school level always talk about student athletes. And I think first and foremost, one of the things that I instill in my players, and I say this all the time, you have family, school, then baseball. So those are in that order. I think those are the important things, and you need to look at that. So one, as we go down, Newark Academy is an excellent academic institution. So you're going to get a top quality education. But from the athletics perspective, one of the things that I've seen that's been just hugely impressive to me is the resources that the school is able to put towards the athletic program. But I think you also have the opportunity as an athlete, Newark Academy, to come in and make an impact really early. The years that I've coached, I've had freshmen who or ninth graders who have made an impact on the program right at the beginning of the season. And I think there are other schools that have a philosophy of you need to kind of put in your time before you can play and make an impact at the varsity level. I think our sports programs very much take the view, if you're talented enough and you're willing to put in the work, you can make an impact at your individual sport very, very early on in your high school career.
What piece of advice would you give to a young coach that's just starting their career?
First and foremost, you need to be yourself. You need to, we tell our athletes all the time that, you can't be another player. You can't be, you can't model yourself completely after, your hero or who you want to ultimately be. You can take things away from those individuals that you look up to and like the way that they play their game. But at the end of the day, you need to assess your strengths and weaknesses and tailor, how you play the game to what your individual skill set is. And for me, as a coach, I came in and I tried to do it all when I was younger and first starting out with coaching. But it wasn't until later that I realized, you want to know what, I just needed to trust myself and trust my knowledge of the game of baseball and my experience to be able to be an effective coach, and really just let the way that I coach be the way that it's going to set the tone for the team. And that changes every year. Every team's different. You need to pull different strings. And so you have to be cognizant of that as a young coach, and realize that while you're being yourself, every year you're gonna have a different set of players, and you may need to just be a slightly different version of yourself to get the most out of your players.
So I'll give you the last word, Coach.
It's been far too long since I've been out coaching on a baseball field. I'm very much looking forward to the start of the season.